All right, what's happening, everybody? So as you can see, the tank is coming along quite nicely. Of course, I have some evaporation going on just because it's getting a lot warmer in the house. Let me go ahead and just go over some things that I noticed. So for some reason, the Rotala bossae, the leaves started melting, and I didn't really know why it was happening. I thought maybe it was a nutrient issue, but they just started getting really damaged. But what it was is it was actually the ram's horn snails, and so the ram's horn snails are just too heavy. And so they were trying to clean the algae off these leaves, but then as they were cleaning the algae, they were actually breaking the leaves, and so they were just causing a lot of damage to the plants. And they didn't attack this one for some reason, but they attacked these two, so I ended up trimming the tops off these two, and I've got a little shoot coming up on one of them, but I ended up just putting the ram's horns back here. So you can see one right there. So now there's 5 ram's horns back here that just help keep the detritus off the biomedia. So they're actually keeping the biomedia pretty clean and just helping to break that matter down. So essentially they're just too heavy for these plants. And so if you do have a lot of delicate plants in your aquascape, ram's horn snails can essentially damage the leaves. Another thing, I want to talk about the shrimp. So for a while they were getting pretty lethargic, and I thought maybe they were unhappy or, you know, something was wrong or whatever, but of course they were just in the process of molting. It just kind of took a while, so I was kind of worried. I didn't know if they were going to have a bad molt and maybe die. But since this shrimp has molted, of course it's a lot more active now. And the other one may be in the process of molting, I'm not really sure. So they can get down in here and they can actually climb all the way through the rock to the back, like back in there. And so one shrimp kind of just basically lives in the dragonstone. But yeah, you can see that the Amazon sword and the crypt lutea are starting to take off now that I've put the root tabs down in there. And of course, even on this side. So I'm finally starting to get healthy leaves coming up on the Amazon sword. And there's a little sister plant right there. And then there's a few sister plants back here. Then of course the pearl weed's growing. It's not really having any issues. It's super easy to grow. And then the Rotala triple red, of course, is looking really nice. Like that leaf right there is looking really red. So that's pretty cool. So basically I'm just giving an update on the tank. My plan is to get a 24 gallon and then set it up as kind of a hybrid method where I'm going to create a substrate system. So I'm in the process of designing a substrate system right now. It won't have any external filtration. I'm going to try and not dose liquid fertilizers, but of course I'm going to have flow. So I'm going to get a Corallia wave maker, and then I'll be doing water changes, at least once a month, maybe once every 2 weeks. And so, in my opinion, that's mimicking nature more than a lot of the other methods out there. So again, I'll have a soil substrate system that I'm designing. I won't dose liquid fertilizers. I won't have an external filter, and I'll just rely on the substrate and the plants for filtration. And then, of course, I will have flow, and then I'll do moderate water changes. And, basically just to mimic stormwater runoff and those types of things. And plus fish and plants and microbes and everything, they like flow. There's nothing wrong with flow. And then of course it adds more dissolved oxygen. And of course, as a tank does balance, you don't have to do water changes as frequently. Especially if you're not doing the EI method or you're not using pressurized CO2 with a bunch of fertilizers that you're dosing. This is a really slow, sustained approach, and so the plants do grow, but they grow very slowly, yet they're healthy. So I'm not dosing any, or I'm not using any pressurized CO2, but I do dose some liquid fertilizers here and there, maybe once or twice a week at the most. I will use C-Chem Comprehensive. And so the plants do grow, and they are healthy, but they just grow really slowly. So it's kind of cool. They don't have to grow fast to be healthy, is kind of my point. Yeah, so that's pretty much it. But, you know, I am busy with my season. So my season is just starting for my small business. And so the momentum of this channel isn't going to be as fast as it probably was in the past, because I do need to focus on scaling my business, and I need to focus on saving money and everything. And so my goal is to get that 24-gallon aquarium and then run that experiment on it and basically use my hybrid method. But it may not be for a month or even 2 months. It's just whenever things get rolling and I have some extra cash that I can put towards the aquarium hobby. But yeah, that's basically it. I do keep this. One thing I want to say, I almost forgot. So I do keep it at 150 TDS, so total dissolved solids, to give you an idea. So my tap water is liquid rock, and then I dilute with RO water, and I'm keeping it at 150 parts per million for my total dissolved solids. And the shrimp did just finish molting, so it's still enough for the shrimp and the snails to be healthy, but of course it is considered soft water. So yeah, that's basically it. I'll probably do a trim on the pearl weed, and I'll trim maybe the Rotala bossi. I might trim this in half and put it down here just to kind of bush, you know, make that a little more bushy. Plus it's reaching the top of the tank now, which is a good thing. It's looking really healthy. And then I'll do a small water change, and I'll probably feed the fish before I do the water change. But anyhow, that's just an update on the tank and some observations that I made with the snails as well as the shrimp, and then just some more, you know, ideas that you guys can think about as far as the hybrid method. So anyway, until next time, keep your sleeves wet. Peace out.